So hey guys, welcome back to my channel again. My name is Arsalan and today we are on day 62nd of solving the object-oriented programming system questions with the help of Python. If you are very new to this playlist, let me give you a very brief introduction of what this playlist is all about. In this playlist, we have been solving questions based on object-oriented programming. We started from a very basic question where we have solved question based on object and classes, and then we have been moving on to difficulty level like anything. We have been increasing the bar of the questions from day 1, day 2, day 2, day 3, day 4, and so on and so forth. And now we have to discuss a topic of encapsulation where we will be solving the question based on it. I have discussed and introduced the concept of encapsulation in my last tutorial on day 61. As you can see on the screen that we have just some information related to encapsulation, where I also discuss a basic structure and discuss the difference between the private, protected and public attribute, and also I have done a question related to it. So today we will be solving yet another question based on encapsulation, which is to explain the difference between private, protected and public access specifiers in encapsulation, provide an example of each. So we have to discuss the difference between private, protected and public access specifiers in encapsulation, and we have to provide it with some examples. So just before starting with this question, with this tutorial, please do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, press the bell icon button and bookmark the playlist so that you can get the updates from the channel. So now what we have to do here is we have to differentiate between private, protected and public specifier in encapsulation. So in last tutorial we have already discussed about these three attributes, these three specifiers, and there is also some text, some information I have shared with you on in my source code here, that the difference between public, private and protected attribute. So in public attribute, these attributes are accessible from anywhere, both within the class and outside the class. They can be accessed directly using the object, the class. So what I mean here is that in public specifier, if we talk about public access, public specifier, public attribute, they can be accessed anywhere from the class or outside the class, which means that you can just access the public attribute from anywhere around the class or outside the class. Like if you have created some attribute inside a class, if you want to access it outside the class, you can just do it. And what is private attribute? Private attribute are those attributes that they cannot be accessed directly from directly outside the class, which means that if you want to access a private attribute outside the class, you cannot access them directly. While but how can we access those attribute? We can only access them through set and get method of any attribute that is private. And lastly, if we talk about protected attributes, so protected attributes is nothing, it's just a convention that we developers put in order to say that it is protected, but it is halfly private and halfly protected, means halfly public and halfly private, you can say. And private attribute starts from, if we talk about private attribute, it starts from, I can write it like this, private. So it has double underscore, and then we have public, first of all private, then we have protected, then it has single underscore, and then protected does not have sorry, it's now public is nothing, so it has no underscore. So now to differentiate between all of these three attributes, these three specifiers, so the protected attribute, as you can see here, that it has single underscore, while protected has 2 underscore and public has no underscore. So while we write the name of the attribute, it should start from the double underscore if we are giving a protected attribute, private attribute, and if we are giving protected attribute, it should be starting from single underscore, and if we are writing about public attribute, it should be starting from no underscore. So what I mean here is that while we differentiate between these three, protected attribute cannot be accessed directly outside the class, while protected attribute can be accessed directly from the class and public as well. But the difference between protected and public is nothing, it's just the matter of this underscore. So to differentiate, it's just the convention that we can just differentiate between these two with a single underscore. We can use protected outside the class and inside the class as well. So this is the differentiation between all of these three attributes. So to differentiate between these two, let's create a class, class name, or we can just write class animal, and then we can just write some attributes. And let's say we have attribute def in it, and then we have some attributes like, let's say name as an attribute, and let's say species is another attribute, and let's say colors is another attribute. So what I will be doing here is, first of all I will be creating a protected, first of all I will be creating a private. So we will be just doing it in a hierarchy way. First of all, let's discuss private, then we can discuss protected, and then we'll be discussing public. So what I mean here is, if I want to create a public attribute, so first of all I will be creating private, sorry. So if I want to create a private attribute, I will be just putting it like this, and I will be saying name is equals to name. All right, so this is my public private attribute, right? So to access this private attribute, I have to create a method. And if I want to create if I will be just directly, if I want to just directly access it, I have to do it like this: self.name is equals to name. So now I can just directly access it. So if I say that a cat is equals to animal, and if I put pass 3 arguments here, let's say cat is the name, and then species is, let's say, access species, and the color is black, let's say the color is black, and if I want to print the name, I will be saying that print cat dot name. So let's first of all write it here as private here, a comment, so that you just know what I mean here is that second is public, and I can also write it like this, that self dot underscore name is equals to name. Now first of all I am printing it, this is my protected. Now these three are my attributes here. First is private, second is protected, and third is public. Because as you can see that we are putting double underscore as a private. For a private we are putting double underscore, then we are putting single underscore for protected, and no underscore for public. So if I write cat dot name, it will be giving me cat. As you can see on the screen, it will be printing me cat. So if I just write it like this, I can just make it more readable. And while by putting f string here and putting curly braces inside here, and if I say that the name of the animal is, and animal is cat, and this is a public attribute, and if I print it, it will be giving me the name of the animal is cat, and this is public attribute. And if I say print the name of the animal, and if I say that instead of putting it like this, if I just say this was my public, and if I just do it like this and say that protected, just print it for me for protected. So if I just put it like this and say self cat dot name, and this is my protected attribute, and it will be running, and it is running. So as you can see, there is no difference, but when we read it, we will be knowing that this is a protected attribute. So we developer know that this is protected. However, if I say that print f string, and if I say the name, and just copy this code here and paste it here, and I have to remove one double quote here, and if I just put it like this, double underscore, and say that this is a private and private. Now why I haven't put it first, because why I haven't put it here first, because if I put it like this, it will be the other code, the following code will not be running. So as you can see, it has shown me the error, and the next code to the private will not be running. The following code will not be running, so that's why I put it last, so that we first of all we get the code of public and protected, then we can just see the error of private. And as you can see that we are getting the name of the animal cat for public attribute, protected attribute also running, but our last attribute, which is our private attribute, is not running. So this is protected attribute which cannot be accessed directly. What I mean here is that it cannot be accessed directly, so it won't be running because it cannot be accessed directly outside the class. However, to access it outside the class, we can use get or set methods. So what I mean here is, if I want to access it directly, what we can do here is we can say def, and let's say get name is the method of the name in which we will be getting the name of the animal. So let's say get name, and if I say get name, so we are referring to self here, which means that we are referring to the class itself, and then we will be printing it, or we can say just return me value. Return me what? Return me self dot underscore underscore name. All right, so if I write it like this, and now if I say print cat dot get name, so get name is the method of the name, and if I print it now, and I have to comment this section out because it will be throwing me an error, or else I can just put it before the error code. So if I put it like this, so if I put also comment here that running the private attribute with the help of get method. So running the private attribute with the help of get method, so we are getting we have a name method called get name, which will be just returning me the value of name. Now if I run this, it will be not throwing me an error. Let's see, yeah, we are getting cat here. So the error coming up from here is of this because we are also running this. So if I remove it and run it now, it will be just not throwing me an error. And we can just write it in between here, f string, and just put it in double quotes, and also putting curly braces, and saying that the name of the animal is and it is private attribute accessed via get method. All right, so if I run this, it will be showing me that the name of the animal is cat, and this is a private attribute accessed via get method. So this is how things work in private, protected, and public. So I hope you have understood this question, and you are now clear with the protected, private, and public attributes. So all of these three attributes are very different from each other. However, the protected attributes show some similarity between the public and protected means public and private. So protected, you can say, is a mixture of public and private. So public is very different from private, but protected is quite similar to public, and as well as it's similar to private. So it's a mixture of both of these two. So this is what we have done in this. So if I want to access my species, let's say if I want to uh, set the name, what if I want to set the name of the animal? So I will be creating def set name, and I will be just setting some name to some value, let's say name to some new name. So if I say that new name and return me sorry, not return, it will be just like self dot underscore underscore name is equals to new name. and and if I want to run this, I have to just first of all do what I have to do. I have to run this method. So I will be saying that uh, so first of all, I have a name as cat, right? So if I want to change the name of the cat to some other name, let's say first of all the name of the name cat is cat X. So, all right, so the name of the cat is cat X initial. So the name of the animal is cat X, and if I want to change my name of the cat X to some changed value, so if I say that cat dot set name, and if I just write it like new name, so if I say that changed name, or let's say cat Y, and if I print my cat dot get name again, so it will be now changed, it will be having now changed value, as you can see. So it is now showing me Y. Or I can just copy this whole code from here, and instead of printing it like this, I can print it like this and just remove this from here. And now if I run this, it will be just showing the same code as it, but it will be having a changed name of cat. So this is how things will be working in the encapsulation. We have three attributes: private, protected, and public, and this is how we will be working in encapsulation question. So I hope you have understood the concept of encapsulation, and you will be just applying in the further question we will be discussing in the upcoming days. So this was I hope you have liked this tutorial in the of encapsulation. If you do so, please do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, press the bell icon button, and bookmark the playlist so that you can get the updates from the channel. Thank you guys for watching this video, and see you next time.